The Persians were motivated by a desire to expand their empire and control the trade routes between India and the West. It is important to note that the concept of invasion is a complex one, and there is no single definition that is universally accepted. In the context of Indian history, it is often difficult to say definitively whether or not a particular kingdom's conquest of another kingdom can be considered an invasion. The Persians and the Sultanates conquered kingdoms on the Indian subcontinent in different ways and for different reasons. The Persians were motivated by a desire to expand their empire and control the trade routes between India and the West. They invaded and conquered several kingdoms in the northwestern part of the subcontinent, including Gandhara and Sindh. The Persian rule in India was relatively short-lived, lasting only about a century. However, they had a significant impact on Indian culture, introducing Zoroastrianism and other Persian influences to the region. The Sultanates were Muslim dynasties that ruled India from the 13th to the 18th centuries. They were motivated by a desire to spread Islam and to expand their own power. The Sultanates conquered a large portion of the Indian subcontinent, including the Delhi Sultanate, the Mughal Empire, and the Deccan Sultanates. The Sultanates' rule in India was much longer lasting than the Persians, and they had a profound impact on Indian culture, politics, and society. In terms of whether or not the Persians and the Sultanates were invaders, it is important to consider the context of the time. The Indian subcontinent was a highly fragmented region, with many different kingdoms and dynasties competing for power. The Persians and the Sultanates were simply two of the many powers that sought to control the region. It is also important to note that the concept of invasion is a complex one. In the context of the Indian subcontinent, it is difficult to say definitively whether or not the Persians and the Sultanates were invaders. On the one hand, they did conquer and rule over large portions of the subcontinent. On the other hand, they also adopted and adapted many aspects of Indian culture. Ultimately, whether or not the Persians and the Sultanates can be considered invaders is a matter of perspective.